You were born in Portsmouth, into a family with a long naval tradition. The blood of your ancestors was intertwined with the duty of defending order upon the seas. At the age of 20, you became a naval officer, carrying the pride and arrogance of youth, firmly believing that justice would ultimately defeat evil. However, on the other side of the ocean, a monster had already awakened. Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard, had long since become the nightmare haunting the hearts of every crew sailing the Atlantic. He was not merely a pirate. He was the embodiment of chaos. Rumors claimed he possessed the strength of 10 men, combined with the mind of a mad military genius. He rarely needed to fight to capture a ship, for merely the sight of his flag and silhouette was enough to make even the bravest sailors lay down their weapons and surrender. His ocean order did not rely on law, but on absolute terror. And you, a young officer filled with ideals, never imagined that you would one day face this king of nightmares. But in the year 1716, on an afternoon near the coast of the Bahamas, you were commanding a small patrol sloop. When you saw black rigging appear on the horizon, you confidently ordered pursuit. You believed it to be just another insignificant pirate. But when the Queen Anne's Revenge turned to face you, you realized you were confronting a true monster. His firepower overwhelmed everything. Your rigging was shattered after the first volley. He pulled alongside your ship. His crew poured aboard like a flood. You fought bravely, cutting down 3 pirates. Then a massive, dark shadow engulfed you, blocking out the sky. It was Blackbeard. You charged at him, striking with what you thought would be the decisive blow. But with one hand, he knocked your sword away. With the other, he seized your throat, lifting you like a chicken. He did not kill you. He stared into your eyes and sneered. Go home, boy. Tell those bloated bureaucrats in London that these waters already have a master. Then he threw you into the sea. For the first time, you felt fear, watching helplessly as your ship burned and slowly sank along with your comrades. In the 2 years following that crushing defeat, you completely changed. You became somber, silent. Every night, the image of Blackbeard's scornful smile haunted you. You swore that next time you met, either he would die or you would. You began collecting every trace of him. On wrecked ships you found half-burned letters. From survivors you gathered fragmented testimonies. You mapped his routes. You realized he was not a madman. He was a fallen military genius. He understood how to turn fear into a weapon. In May 1718, when news arrived that Blackbeard had blockaded the port of Charleston, the entire command fell into panic. But you saw opportunity. He had grown arrogant, and arrogance is a fatal weakness. After that, there was no news of him. You disguised yourself as a merchant and infiltrated the filthy taverns of Bathtown. You heard whispers that he had married, that he was living like an honest man. You scoffed. A predator never learns to eat grass. You waited patiently. You knew sooner or later he would return to the sea. You were right. Merchant ships began disappearing again. The governor of Virginia granted you command. Intelligence reported that his ship was anchored at Ocracoke Inlet in North Carolina. You proposed a bold plan. Instead of large warships that would run aground in shallow waters, you would use 2 small sloops loaded with battle-hardened soldiers. It was a gamble, sacrificing firepower for mobility and the advantage of surprise. At dawn, 2 Royal Navy sloops entered the inlet. Blackbeard saw them. He did not flee. He stood on deck, raising a glass of wine, welcoming you with the arrogance of a pirate king. The broadside from his ship shattered your sloop's hull. Cannonballs fell all around you. You ordered all men below deck to take cover and feign death. You crouched behind a barrel of gunpowder, gripping your sword. Cold sweat ran down your spine, not from fear, but from excitement. Blackbeard's ship pulled alongside. The sound of grappling hooks crashing onto your deck rang out. Board her! Kill all these royal rats! His voice thundered. The moment his shadow leapt onto the deck, you gave the signal. You were the first to charge. Through the smoke of gunpowder, your eyes met. He paused for a second. Perhaps he recognized you, that boy, from years ago, now a warrior with killing intent in his eyes. You again. Still haven't learned your lesson. He swung his massive cutlass. You knew his strength was immense, so you relied on speed. You dodged his slash, then lunged forward, stabbing his shoulder. Blood sprayed. He roared in pain and turned to attack you in a frenzy. You retreated, luring him into the encirclement of your soldiers. But Blackbeard was like a wounded beast. The more he bled, the more ferocious he became. He drew a pistol and fired at you. You lunged into him, and his shot went wide. You grappled on the slick deck. He was built like a bear. His hands closed around your throat. Darkness crept into your vision. You could not breathe. You pulled the dagger hidden in your boot and drove it hard into his thigh. He roared and released you. You rolled aside and seized a sword. By then, other soldiers had swarmed in. Blackbeard was surrounded, yet he still stood tall. Blood dripped from his braided beard. He looked at you. The contempt was gone from his eyes. In its place was recognition, the acknowledgement a predator gives to an opponent worthy of battle. You charged forward and delivered the decisive strike. Blackbeard staggered. He tried to raise his pistol one last time, but his strength was gone. He collapsed like a tower. His eyes remained wide open, staring straight at you until the light faded. You stood there, breathing heavily, looking at the lifeless body of the enemy of your life. His blood was on your hands. You did not feel the overwhelming joy you had imagined, only a vast emptiness. The debt was repaid. The humiliation of the past was washed away. Your war was over. You had killed Blackbeard, but a part of your soul, the naive, passionate part from years ago, had died with him that day. You returned to the mainland, refusing all rewards, retreating into silence. The world praised you as the hero who killed Blackbeard, but you knew the truth. It was hatred, the sharpest weapon of all, that struck down the pirate king.